Okay, welcome. My name is Lamadia, giving all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the eldest apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the Akim, sincerely pushing the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua. As we know, we're in the year of prophecy, and Esau's pushing fast to bring about this new world order, or rather new world disorder. And the way he's gonna go about it is through deception. And a lot of people, well, a lot of the American people is under this misconception that the country that they living in is a democracy, but they haven't yet realized that America is really a communist country, and they give you the illusion that you have freedom, but they pretty much is a communist country. And I'm gonna play this video and I'm gonna come right back.
You might say it's no more Mr. Nice Guy. The NYPD will be out in force at parks, beaches, and playgrounds this weekend to make sure New Yorkers don't get up close and personal with each other, that everyone observes social distancing.
We're past the point of warnings. This is a dangerous situation.
NYPD Chief of Department Terrence Monahan telling me that New Yorkers drawn out of their homes by the expected sunny skies and warm temperatures this weekend will see a large police presence, 1,000 cops, all 5 boroughs, to keep New Yorkers safe by trying to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Barbecues with large gatherings of people together, organized sports events, people hanging together trying to drink or something along those lines. We will be breaking these up. We will be actively involved. People who are just walking together, exercising on a blanket with their family, those aren't people we're going to bother. If they don't have a mask, we'll give them a mask.
Will you really arrest people?
If they confront us.
He said if they don't have a mask, law enforcement will give them a mask. And well, we know this is not true dealing with Jake. Now, dealing with Jake, the so-called Negroes and Hispanics and so-called Native Americans, they're not going to be so kindly with you. As this one case happened with this Jake got beat up by the cop that went viral. And the cop, I believe, was from the Latin tribe. But his mind state is of Esau. He think like an Edomite. He don't see himself as a so-called Hispanic or so-called Negro. He see himself, or he viewed himself as enforcing Esau's system.
Don't flex. Your last number 2. Look. He ain't even do nothing. He ain't even do nothing. He ain't even do nothing. Look. He ain't even do nothing. He ain't even do nothing. He pussy. That nigga pussy. That nigga pussy. Fuck out of here. Yo, I got all that. He got all that. That's right. Hit the fucking street up. Hit the fucking street up now. Back up.
So pretty much they're gonna start penalizing people for not social distancing and not having the PPE while being in the public.
If it becomes an incident, yes, we will. If it has to be, yes. I hope it never comes to that, though, Marsha. People should understand just how dangerous a virus this is.
The police enforcement action coming after Mayor de Blasio saw red following a funeral in Williamsburg this week that drew thousands.
In Williamsburg, that was completely unacceptable. Over 2,000 people gathered on the street.
Meanwhile, the mayor announced a plan to provide more open space by closing 7 miles of streets next week for pedestrians and cyclists. But he's stressing social distancing is the order of the day.
There's going to be a crackdown everywhere if we see gatherings.
And even though he's concerned about crowds, the mayor insisted he's going to find some way to celebrate July 4th. He wouldn't say how, but he promised there will be fireworks. I'm Marsha Kramer, CBS 2 News.
And as Marsha mentioned, we will soon have more space outdoors in the city.
Okay, so let's go to a few scriptures real quick. Now, the first scripture I like to read is Genesis 3:1. Now it says, "Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord power had made." Now the serpent is the serpent is actually referencing towards the man, which it represents Esau. Now subtle mean to be very deceptive and to deal with trickery. So now it says, "Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord power had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have the Most High said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?" So the point was that Esau has this he moves in subtlety, and he's enforcing social distancing to make the people feel that he's doing it for their safety. But in reality, he has a alternate motive behind it. Okay, and it's to gear towards his new world order. See, now here we're looking at different drones that Esau have to monitor the people. And with the drones, he could get a bird eye point of view on who's exercising social distancing and who's not wearing PPE. Which the word PPE is just an acronym that means personal protective equipment. So that's referencing towards your mask, of course. And within these different drones, these drones have programmed and then facial recognition, and he could see who's walking too close to each other and who's not following social distancing. Like I can see right here, it showed you cars that was parked in a location that was not supposed to be there, and with the drones they could pick everything up. So this is the world that Esau he wanted to bring. Now, let's go to Psalms 64. And I'll start at 5. It reads, "They encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune on laying snares privily." And that's what they do. They're all about setting traps to get you into you doing what what he desire you to do. And it said they communicating snares privately. They say they say who should see them. They search out iniquity. They accomplish a diligent search. Now the scripture said they search out iniquity. They accomplish a diligent search. Now the word iniquity, when you look it up, the word iniquity, the word, when you break it down, it means not equal. And when anything is not equal, meaning it's not balanced, meaning is in sin. So Esau, he searched or he investigate on try to set up a unjustice system. That's what it means. He searched out iniquity. He researched on how he could bring about wickedness and establish this new world order. So they search out iniquity. They accomplish a diligent search. So they do, in other words, they do a lot of research before they bring their plans to light. Both their inward thought of every one of them and their heart is deep. The Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So that's what's gonna happen. The Most High, he's gonna disrupt their plans of their new world order and issue his new world order, which is an order under righteousness under Yahushua. Now here's Matthew 24:12. And it reads, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And that's what began to happen now. People, their love towards their neighbor is waxing cold and colder and colder. When you go to the supermarket, everybody's thinking for themselves. That's why you see people buying up all the water, buying up all the foods, hand sanitizer, whatever they feel that is essential unto them, rather worrying about the next person, because they just want to make sure that they good. That's their main focus, is making sure that that themselves is all right, and it is only going to grow worse. See what's going to happen when they can't get milk for their baby, can't get diapers. It's just going to get bad. Verse 13. But he should endure unto the end, the same should be saved. And you see what's happening, what's going on now. You have a lot of people calling 311 on people that's not practicing social distancing. So the country is dividing on people who are afraid of COVID-19 and people who's not afraid. And the people that are afraid, they're the ones that are going to be making these calls. Because they've been pretty much programmed. Well, Esau pretty much programmed them to conduct citizen policing.
Facial recognition, even with masks. A Chinese company says it's developed technology to identify people even while they're wearing surgical masks amid the coronavirus outbreak. The The spread of the virus has posed a problem for China, which employs some of the world's most sophisticated surveillance systems, including facial recognition. But Hanwang Technology may have found a solution. Their Vice President Huang Lei spoke with Reuters.
In the current climate of China, facing a mass return to work and return to production, people have to wear masks at the workplace, on public transport, and in other public areas. In the past, we had to take off our masks to use facial recognition, to go through entrances, arrive at work, and to go through customs or other channels. But in the current situation, taking off masks increases the risk of cross-infection.
Beijing-based firm began work in January as the coronavirus outbreak picked up and began rolling it out to the market just 1 month later. Huang claims it can identify everyone in a crowd of up to 30 people within a second.
Yeah, so it pretty much could these facial technology could pretty much identify people even with mask on, and the technology could even be programmed to pick up people who have masks, or let's say they put on the settings to pick up people without mask. The technology, the settings is going to pick up only the ones on the camera the technology only going to pick up the ones on the camera that's not wearing a mask, and they can pull your information through facial recognition and pull up and identify who you are, and find and have you pay a penalty or a fine. Because as they storing all these faces, they storing it into a database, so that way they can identify each and every person.
Just 1 month later, Huang claims it can identify everyone in a crowd of up to 30 people within a second. But he did note that the technology struggles to identify people wearing both a mask and sunglasses. The company has about 200 clients in Beijing using the technology, including the Ministry of Public Security, and they expect scores more across 20 provinces to start installing it soon.
So what we're looking at here is the actual facial camera, or facial recognition camera, being used from a bird eye perspective. And it's codified. You see the green is people that's social distancing, and red meaning a person is not compliant to social distance. And this is how they could place heavy fine on the people, because it could pretty much identify who you are, and you could get a fine in the mail. Once they identify you, that's all they need. It's almost like how they do sending tickets now with traffic. You know, you're driving, they take a picture of your license plate, and you get a fine in the mail. But they want to do this with people. This is why Esau is enforcing social distances, because he understands that it's going to be changes, and to keep the people from protesting against the change to come, he made sure he implements social distance to the pretext of a virus. But as you see, the shows the facial recognition camera works a lot better when a person is exercising social distance. So this is why he wants social distance to continue, so that way he can identify you better. And this Esau's new system he want to implement Now, this is Job 2:4, and it reads, "And Satan answered the Lord and said, Skin for skin, yea, all that a man have will he give for his life." And Esau is engineering these hard times that's coming to America, like the famine that's coming, the coronavirus. He's engineering these things to bring forth his agenda, and by using fear, he understands that he can steal away people's rights. That's what it says. And Satan answered the Lord and said, Skin for skin, yea, all that a man have will he give for his life. So for a person's safety, people will give up their rights to protect their own life. But this is not something new. Esau been doing this for ages. Even when 9/11, after 9/11, he introduced the Patriot Act, the Patriot Act 1 and 2, where the government was legally allowed to invade your privacy through the pretext of combating terror or terrorism. So with that, I'm going to close. I'm going to say all praises and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Shalom.